What is up, studs? Ryan here, or M&R Productions, with a LEGO Star Wars 2026 rumor update. We've got a few things to cover in this video, including some price changes, aka price increases. We have some new sets that are coming out in spring with set numbers and pricing, some quite expensive ones for a spring lineup. And we also have 4 more new set rumors for the first half of 2026. So let's get started with our price changes. Quick and easy here. The MIDI scale AT-AT is rumored to be changing from $60 to $65. Nothing huge, but another $5 in Lego's pocket and out of yours. We'll be seeing the 207-piece Cobb Vanth Speeder set go from $30 to $35, which I already thought that set was going to have trouble being worth $30. Seeing it get a price increase is very scary to me. Hopefully there's something substantial in there, but that set is very quickly looking like it's going to be massively overpriced as they've increased the price. And then finally, the Siege on Mandalore Battle Pack is going to be going from $20 up to $23. And yeah, we expected that. We knew that was coming. Next, we've got 4 new set numbers and prices for sets to expect in spring of 2026, which could be March, could be May, but I assume these are going to coincide with the Mandalorian movie and be based on that. But we have 75444 through 75447 at $45, $75, $130, and $150 respectively. The 2 cheaper ones I feel like could kind of be anything, but the 2 more expensive ones I feel like are pretty certain, if these are Mando movie sets, like I would really bet a lot of money that we're going to see a new Razor Crest and a new AT-AT based on this movie. And that Razor Crest, I think, would fit at the $130 price tag, AT-AT at $150 price tag. Both of these, of course, being downscaled a little bit, downsized a little bit from their previous versions that we saw back in 2020, given these prices are either the same or less than the last version of these sets that we had. So yeah, I think a Razor Crest and AT-AT, if these are Mando sets, are almost a guarantee. The other 2 sets could be some scenery sets. Hopefully a Rod of the Hutt, if he's part of the movie that was rumored, will be in one of these cheaper sets or more expensive sets, as long as he exists, right? Because I imagine we're not too far away from getting our first trailer from the movie. I mean, it's got to happen by the end of the year, so we'll have a pretty good idea, assuming these are Mando movie sets, what we might see when that trailer drops, I think. So that's new info. And then we have 4 more new set rumors, like I mentioned. So yesterday, we had a couple of bust rumors drop. Now, Marvel started with some busts this year, and they were interesting. I really didn't think Star Wars was going to pick up on this, especially because they already have the existing helmet lineup, but it looks like they're just going to try to find a way to sell the same thing in a different format, but also be able to do things that aren't strictly helmets, because as we'll see, there is a character here in Yoda that's going to be making an appearance as part of the bust lineup. He's the first one at set 75438, the Yoda Bust, and he is $50. So not that expensive, but I mean, these are going to be small. They're busts. We've seen the other ones from Marvel. They seemed really small for the money. They're like 400 pieces, $60. This one I assume would be like 350 pieces for $50, and it's going to be really tiny. And I don't know how to feel about these. I think the benefit of the busts, at least assuming they're going to follow what they did with Marvel, is that they can and will include minifigures with these. They have refused to include minifigures with sets like the helmet sets, which I've defended. I think helmet sets don't need minifigures. I like that they just kind of exist on their own. But these butts, according to what Marvel has done, should include minifigs. And you know, they're not exciting ones. Yoda and Darth Vader. Okay, we've got a Yoda, we've got a Darth Vader. If you don't own Yoda or Darth Vader as a Lego Star Wars fan that watches Lego Star Wars content on YouTube, I don't know how you've gotten this far. Honestly, really. Like, it'd be really hard not to own those figures. But it's still nice to have them. And certainly when we get cases where we have characters that are less common than Yoda and Darth Vader, it will be far more exciting. So hopefully that kind of thing happens. But it's also the sort of thing where, like, okay, they're going to make the characters that are popular. So, like, that makes them already minifigs that you'd probably have usually. But anyway, the Yoda is 50, and as I alluded to, there will be apparently a Darth Vader bust with set 75439 for $60, and I assume it'll look way better than the existing Darth Vader bust that we have had, which will be nice. I'm very excited to see and compare those, really, because that one was, I think, 327 pieces for $40 back in 2019, so I assume the piece count on this will be much higher, closer to 450, 500 for $60, but still going to be small, right? Don't get me wrong. And I think including the Darth Vader minifig will be nice. You know, it's a nice little bonus, really, in a set like this, because it's a figure you probably already have. But yeah, some busts going to be making their way into Lego Star Wars. In the first year, of course, always got to be original trilogy. I'm very curious how this lineup will continue to grow in the future. And I assume it means the end of the helmet lineup. I think it has to. And then we have the 2 latest rumors. In fact, these rumors dropped like 4 minutes before I started recording this video. I was going to record this video and that was going to be it. and then these rumors dropped. So they fill in a couple of gaps that we already had from a previous video that I did that was, I think, a $70 and $100 Imperial and Rebellion set. Certainly the Rebel set was completely unexpected given what we already have on shelves, but the first one will go with the Imperial set, a 75421 Darth Vader's TIE Advanced for $70 with 473 pieces, which, if you compare it to something like the TIE Bomber, is an absolute scam. Looking at price per piece only, right? You can't do that really, but I'm just going to do it here anyway. So TIE Bomber, 625 pieces, $65. Vader's TIE Advance, 473 pieces for $70. So it remains to be seen, of course, how big the TIE Fighter is. It could be a TIE Fighter that's just as big as a TIE Bomber, and then it's a fair price, whatever. But we'll see there. Anyway, the TIE Advance, I assume, will include Darth Vader. I know, that's the limb I'm going to go out on. I would bet a lot of money on that. But along with Darth Vader, I expect there to be other figures. I mean, it's not 2009 anymore where they released Darth Vader's TIE Fighter for $30, you get a Darth Vader figure, you get the build, and that's it. There's very likely going to be more, so I'm curious if you let me know in the comments what else you expect to see from this Vader's TIE Fighter as far as minifigs go, because they could do quite a bit here, theoretically. Honestly, it might be a way for them to get a couple of those Death Star figures or officers into a cheaper set, and I don't know, that could be a thing that they're trying to do, because they kind of flip-flop back and forth on whether they want things to be exclusive and expensive sets or not, and how they actually treat that. I really don't know if that'll happen here, but it definitely could. So Vader's TIE Advance for $70. I'm glad to finally get a new Vader's TIE Fighter. I've wanted a new one for quite a while. It's a lot of money at $70 for Vader's TIE Fighter, you know, and we know the general scale that it will be. It's not like it's about to be some massive surprise, although there is one potential surprise, but it has nothing to do with like the size of it. So we'll get to that in a second after the next rumor, which is the X-Wing. When I saw this price, my jaw dropped. Luke's X-Wing for $100. Keep in mind, we currently have a $110 2-in-1 X-Wing and TIE Fighter set. How are they going to make a $100 X-Wing? I mean, it has to be on par with the quality of the 2018 playset X-Wing, which is the best. I think it's the best X-Wing they've ever made. I don't think the UCS ones have ever quite hit it for me. That 2018 one, though, is beautiful. And if they make one like that, conceivably you could reach the $100 price point. But even with that in consideration, the piece count in 2018 was 730, and the piece count on the new one is rumored to be 584, so 150 less pieces. And we all know LEGO year over year has been using smaller and smaller pieces. I would be shocked if all of a sudden they're just using massive pieces to build the same X-Wing type of design that was so great back in 2018. So I would expect a smaller X-Wing for more money, which is crazy. And then, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's going to have Luke Skywalker and R2-D2. Hopefully something else to freshen it up. They could go the route they did in 2018, include Biggs Darklight or another astromech droid. That would be perfectly fine and acceptable. But I'm kind of hoping for something more outside the box. I don't know what I really want out of it. I'm just curious what they're going to do. But I guess the real thing kind of looking over this is apparently LEGO has a new smart brick. I'm not sure if it's in any new sets or not. I've been way too focused on LEGO Star Wars, but I've seen some discussion on this that it might be part of these sets. Well, that's embarrassing. This brick has been around for a year, but it's supposed to like react to how you move and what you do with it, and I guess it can have lights and make sounds and things. And so these sets probably, I assume, given their crazy piece counts and prices, but also it's LEGO Star Wars, they might just be going for it, will include the smart brick that we saw introduced back in 2024, that you saw introduced back in 2024, because I didn't see it, at least I don't remember it. I wasn't following closely enough. But the smart brick integrated with a couple of Star Wars playsets could be cool, but obviously it makes the prices potentially crazy. I mean, prices were already crazy, and now they're even crazier. How crazy can it get? Apparently $100 for an X-Wing. Crazy. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. I think the one I'm most excited to see is the Vader's TIE Advanced, along with the midi-scale AT-AT, but we've already discussed that in another video. But Vader's TIE Advanced should be pretty cool for $70, hopefully. If you enjoyed, hit me with a like, and you can check out more LEGO Star Wars content on the end screen now.